The night begins with a hum that feels too quiet for a city that never sleeps. At 2 a.m., Ethan sits on a cold metal bench outside the emergency room, his hands gripping a worn friendship bracelet that once carried the scent of summers and laughter. The fluorescent lights above him flicker like they're struggling to stay alive, matching the tremble in his own breathing. When the doctor steps out, there is a pause so sharp it slices through the hallway. Ethan already knows what that silence means, but the words still hit him like a collapsing roof. "I'm sorry. We did everything we could." Ethan lowers his head, the bracelet digging into his palm, and a trembling voice forms in his mind. If only he had kept his promise. If only he had spoken up when he stayed silent. If only he hadn't believed that loyalty meant quiet. Maybe Noah would still be here. Maybe this hallway wouldn't feel like a tomb. The story begins long before this night. Ethan remembers. It's Noah the way you remember someone who shaped your childhood like a chapter that built the rest of the book. They met when they were barely tall enough to reach the water fountain, both carrying scraped knees and oversized dreams. Their friendship grew with the years, stitched together by secrets, pranks, late-night talks, that one promise they swore would never break. No secrets. No lies, not ever. Noah used to say there was nothing in the world he feared, except being left out of the truth. Ethan believed him. Ethan promised him. And for most of their lives, that promise was a simple thing. Just two kids trying to hold on to something pure. But promises are easy when life is easy. Ethan didn't know that one day the same promise would become a trap, that keeping it would cost him more than breaking it. He didn't know that silence can bend into a weapon. He didn't know that loyalty can sometimes hide danger. As he sits outside the hospital in the present, replaying every word, every moment, every warning sign he ignored, the truth spreads through him like cold water. This story isn't just about a promise broken. It's about the price of waiting too long to do the right thing. It's about the night the bracelet in his hand became the heaviest thing he ever carried. Ethan still remembers the first day he met Noah, two skinny kids standing at the edge of a playground they both felt too shy to step into. Noah had a habit of smiling even when he was nervous. And Ethan, quiet and observant, instantly felt pulled toward that warmth. They weren't just classmates, they became each other's safe place. When the bigger kids tried to bully Ethan, Noah stepped in without hesitation, even though he was smaller. "Nobody messes with my friend," he'd say, bravely standing there with a scraped elbow or a torn shirt, but always with that same fearless grin. As they grew older, their lives began to intertwine like threads in the same cloth. They walked to school together, shared lunches, and studied late into the night for exams they both dreaded. Noah was the dreamer, one who believed life always had something better waiting just around the corner. Ethan was more grounded, more afraid of losing things than gaining them. Noah used to notice that he'd think too much, he'd tease, just trust life a little. No matter how different they were, they knew one truth. They understood each other better than anyone else. It wasn't spoken often, but they felt it in the quiet moments. Like when they sat on Ethan's rooftop watching the stars, or when they rode their bikes through the neighborhood pretending they had no responsibilities at all. One afternoon when they were around 13, Noah pulled a woven bracelet from his pocket, blue and black threads tangled together. "I made two," he said proudly, handing one to Ethan. "You know, because we're kind of unbreakable." Ethan laughed at the cheesiness of it, but put the bracelet on anyway. It fit perfectly. Noah held his out and said, "Promise me one thing, no secrets, ever. Whatever life throws, we tell each other first." Ethan, not knowing how much weight this promise would hold in the future, agreed instantly. "No secrets," he repeated, shaking Noah's hand dramatically like a business deal. They laughed, unaware that this childish vow would shape the most painful decision of Ethan's life. High school didn't change them much. They still stuck together. They helped each other survive heartbreaks, celebrated small victories, and dreamed of growing up without losing the bond they had built. Noah always said, "We're family, not just friends," and Ethan believed that with all his heart. But looking back now, Ethan realizes that Noah wasn't just a chapter in his life, he was the foundation of it. Every good memory had Noah's laugh, Noah's confidence, Noah's bright eyes. And every fear Ethan had seemed easier to face when Noah was beside him. But what Ethan didn't know was that life was already preparing to test both the promise they made and the strength of their bond. Because sometimes the people who seem the strongest are carrying the heaviest battles in silence. And sometimes, the people you trust the most are the ones you fail without even meaning to. It started subtly small things Ethan could easily ignore if he wanted to. Noah canceling plans, showing up late to school with dark circles under his eyes, or taking mysterious phone calls and walking away to answer them. At first, Ethan brushed it off as stress. Everyone their age was dealing with something. But Noah was different now. His smile looked forced. His energy was scattered, like he was constantly trying to outrun something. The real change came one evening when Ethan spotted Noah outside a rundown warehouse on the edge of town. He wasn't alone. 3 men stood with him, men who didn't look like they belonged anywhere near a teenager. Their faces were hard, their expressions cold. One of them grabbed Noah's collar, and Ethan's heart dropped. He almost rushed over, but suddenly Noah noticed him watching. His eyes widened with a quiet warning, "Don't come closer." Ethan froze. After the men drove off, Noah finally approached him, trying to act casual, but Ethan could see his hand shaking. "You weren't supposed to see that," Noah said, attempting a weak smile. "Who were they? What's going on?" Ethan demanded. Noah sighed heavily, rubbing his face. "I messed up, okay? My mom's medical bills. They're piling up. Insurance won't cover everything. I didn't know what else to do." He avoided Ethan's eyes, "So I borrowed money from the wrong people." Ethan felt a cold wave of fear rising inside him. "You should have told me. Could have figured something out." Noah shook his head. "No, I didn't want you involved. It's my responsibility. I'll handle it by yourself." "Noah, those guys look dangerous." Noah grabbed Ethan's shoulders, forcing their eyes to meet. "Promise me you won't tell anyone, please. My mom has enough stress. She can't know about this. Nobody can." The weight of their childhood vow suddenly pressed down on Ethan's chest. No secrets was the rule they had sworn by. But now this wasn't just about trust. It was about safety. Ethan hesitated, torn between protecting Noah's privacy and protecting his life. But the panic in Noah's eyes, the desperation in his voice, made him nod against his better judgment. "Okay, I won't tell," Ethan whispered. For the next few weeks, Ethan watched Noah crumble under the pressure. The men kept calling, threatening, demanding more money. Noah avoided his mother, avoided Ethan sometimes too, as if keeping a distance made the danger feel less real. Ethan wanted to help, wanted to break the promise and tell someone. Anyone but Noah's words kept echoing in his mind. "Please, Auntie, tell anyone." Every night Ethan lay awake, wondering if keeping the promise was loyalty or cowardice. He sensed disaster was coming, but he didn't know how to stop it without betraying his best friend. The truth was simple, but terrifying. Noah was in deeper trouble than he let on. And Ethan was watching him drown while holding on to a promise that felt more like a chain than a bond. The tension escalated faster than Ethan could process. The loan sharks had grown impatient, and Noah was running out of excuses, out of time, out of hope. Ethan started noticing bruises on Noah's arms, bruises he tried to hide under long sleeves. But one afternoon, when they were sitting behind the school gym, Noah's sleeve slipped, revealing a dark, swollen mark. Ethan grabbed his wrist. "Noah, what is this?" "What did they do?" he demanded. Noah pulled back, defeated. "It's nothing. I can handle it." "You're not handling it? You're getting hurt?" Noah squeezed his eyes shut. "I know, but I just need a little more time." Time, though, was the last thing those men were willing to give. Ethan's breaking point came when he overheard one of those men threatening Noah's mother. He was walking back from the grocery store when he saw the same black SUV parked outside Noah's home. One of the men leaned against the gate, talking to Noah's mom in a low, intimidating voice. She looked scared, confused, clutching her handbag nervously. Ethan's heart pounded. This wasn't just about Noah anymore, this was crossing into innocent lives. He hid behind a parked car and listened. "You tell your son the deadline is tomorrow," the man growled. "If he doesn't pay, we come inside next time, understand?" Noah's mother nodded nervously, not understanding what deadline meant. When they drove away, Ethan felt sick, couldn't breathe. The truth was too heavy to hold alone. This was beyond any promise. This was violence waiting to happen. He ran to Noah's house, barging into his room without knocking. Noah was sitting on the floor, his head buried in his hands. Ethan told him what he saw, voice shaking with anger and fear. Noah didn't even react with surprise. He just closed his eyes. I knew they'd go to her. I knew it. You need help, Ethan insisted. Need to tell your mom, or the police, anyone. Noah, this is serious. Noah shook his head. If my mom finds out, she'll blame herself. She'll get sick again. I can't do that to her. You can't protect her like this. I can, and I will, Noah said stubbornly. That night, Noah seemed strangely calm, like someone who had already accepted something terrible. Before Ethan left, Noah rested a hand on his shoulder. If anything ever happens to me, don't blame yourself. The next morning, Noah was gone, his phone off, his room empty. Nobody at school had seen him. His mother was confused, but not panicked yet. Ethan knew instantly Noah had gone to face those men alone. That was the moment Ethan finally broke the promise. He told Noah's mother everything. Told her about the debt, the threats, the bruises, the fear. But the damage had already taken root. The secret was shattered, but so was the world around it. And the silence Ethan had protected for so long had already turned into a storm. They found Noah hours later. The police called it an assault, connected to criminal loan activity. Ethan couldn't hear the rest. All he knew was that Noah had been found unconscious near the abandoned warehouse where Ethan had first seen him with the loan sharks. By the time they reached the hospital, doctors were still fighting to keep his heart beating. Ethan stood beside Noah's hospital bed, staring at the bruises, the cuts, the tubes and wires taped to him like a fragile machine barely holding on. It didn't look like the same boy who used to ride through the neighborhood laughing at the wind, who used to promise that life would get better. Noah looked small, fragile, nothing like the fearless friend Ethan once leaned on. When the heart monitor beeped irregularly, Ethan felt himself break. He sat down, holding Noah's hand tightly. "I'm so sorry," he whispered, his voice cracking. "I should have told someone sooner. I shouldn't have kept your secret. I shouldn't have let you face them alone." For a moment it felt like Noah couldn't hear him, but then his fingers twitched weakly. His eyes opened just slightly, unfocused but trying to find Ethan. With trembling lips, he spoke slowly, painfully. "You kept the promise." Ah. His voice was barely audible. "But maybe you shouldn't have." Ethan felt his chest cave in. Tears blurred everything around him. "I was trying to protect you." Noah gave a faint smile, small, broken, but still somehow full of love. "I know, but some promises aren't meant to be kept when they start hurting the people we love." His breath weakened, his grip loosened. "Don't blame yourself," Noah whispered. But it was too late. Ethan already blamed himself more than words could express. When Noah's heart monitor flatlined, the room seemed to fall silent in a way Ethan had never known silence before. He felt hollow, like his own heartbeat had stopped with Noah's. Nurses rushed in, but Ethan already knew. The world had lost Noah, and Ethan had lost a part of himself. Later, sitting outside the hospital, Ethan held the friendship bracelet in his hands, the same one Noah had given him years ago. The threads were frayed now, the colors faded, but the meaning still burned in his heart. The promise, once a symbol of loyalty, now felt like a chain that had held Ethan back when he needed to act the most. He understood now. Keeping a secret isn't always an act of love. Sometimes the truth is the only thing that can save someone. And silence. Silence can be deadly. Noah's absence would stay with him forever, echoing in every quiet moment, every choice he made. The promise he kept had cost a life he could never replace, a friend he would never get back. And as Ethan wiped his tears and looked at the bracelet one last time, he whispered the words he wished he had spoken sooner. "I didn't break the promise for nothing. I broke it too late." The evening sky had turned the color of fading embers, a mix of orange and soft purple stretching across the horizon. Ethan walked slowly along the quiet shoreline, each step sinking slightly into the cool sand. In his hand, the bracelet Noah had made years ago dangled gently, catching the last bits of sunlight. He stopped near the water's edge, listening to the waves roll in and retreat, as if the ocean itself was breathing with him. The world seemed painfully calm for a heart carrying the weight he carried. He closed his eyes and let the wind brush against his face. "Noah," he whispered, his voice trembling. "I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm trying. Promise you that." He looked down at the bracelet again, running his thumb across the frayed threads. "I didn't keep our promise the way I should have. When I finally broke it, it was too late. But I swear, your story won't fade. Your life won't just disappear into silence." He lifted the bracelet to his chest and held it there for a long moment. Behind him, the waves thundered softly. In front of him, the sun dipped slowly beneath the horizon, turning the world a deep shade of blue. He felt Noah's absence so strongly it hurt. But for the first time, he also felt a strange sense of direction, as if Noah's memory was gently guiding him forward. Ethan took a deep breath. People need to know that silence isn't loyalty. Sometimes speaking the truth is the only way to save someone. His voice grew steadier, warmer. If you're watching this, whoever you are, don't wait until it's too late to do the right thing. Don't let fear or promises or guilt keep you from saving someone you care about. He stepped forward and let the bracelet touch the surface of the water, not letting it go, just letting the ocean's tide kiss it. "This isn't the end," he said softly. "Not for him, not for me." The camera slowly zoomed out as Ethan stood tall, staring at the endless waves. Soft emotional music swelled in the background, the kind that feels like a deep breath after a long cry, quiet, healing, hopeful. A gentle fade begins, transitioning from the ocean's twilight to a calm black screen. Ethan's voice returns one last time, soft but filled with conviction. "Thank you for listening to his story." A few seconds of silence. Yes. Then a warm, friendly transition appears, glowing white text on a soft, dark background. If this story touched your heart, make sure to subscribe for more emotional and meaningful stories. A small bell icon animates gently beside it as Ethan's voice continues. And don't forget to tap the bell icon so you never miss the next story. The screen fades to black completely, leaving only the lingering echo of the waves and the memory of a promise that changed everything.